I feel like most people in their life will go through a heartbreak that just destroys them. The kind of breakup where you are writhing on your floor listening to the same sad song on repeat, where you can't eat, you can't sleep, where you're fantasizing about your ex with another person until you're sick to your stomach. The kind of heartbreak where it seems like you're never going to get over this relationship. And as the days and the weeks and the months go by and you're still thinking about your ex, you're like, what is wrong with me? If only I could get over this person, then I could move on with my life. But what most people don't realize is that breakups are never really just about that one person or that one relationship. Your ex is no longer just someone you were with. Your ex has come to represent all your fears of being unlovable, all your old wounds of abandonment and rejection from your past, all the cultural narratives and social pressures about how you're not complete because you couldn't make this relationship work. And in order to heal from a breakup, you have to go beyond the ex. You have to dig deep into your shadow and come out with a new narrative about your value and your self-worth. Heartbreaks break us open and show us what is hidden beneath. So for this video, I want to talk about how to turn your heartbreak into your awakening, how to go from that dark night of the soul to a new dawn of understanding and empowerment. You deserve to get over this relationship, but you can't move past something you're not seeing. I don't think it's any big secret that our culture has conditioned us to believe that we need to find the one to be complete.
You complete me.
We grew up on Disney movies, rom-coms, and sitcoms that fed us a narrative that until we found our person, we were not whole, which is why so many of those movies ended with a wedding as if that was the end of our story. Now we have finally become self-actualized. But it's not just Disney and romance films that have equated relationships with completeness, and therefore the end of a relationship a failure to secure your completeness. For centuries of human history, religious tradition has equated marital union with moral imperative and divorce and separation as a sin, a failure in the eyes of God. And even if you personally don't believe that finding the one will complete you as a human being, even if you don't intellectually buy into that narrative that it is your moral imperative to marry and live happily ever after, that cultural conditioning has been ingrained in the human psyche for centuries, and it's not realistic to think that that doesn't affect you on some level. On top of that, it is still perpetuated in the content and entertainment that we watch today. And then there are the pressures many of us feel from our families and friends to find our person. So the consequences of a breakup are compounded by a feeling that you are somehow being left behind when your friends are all partnered up, or the disappointment of your loved ones who are anxiously waiting for you to settle down. Because remember, those family members have also been conditioned by that cultural narrative.
Get married, make babies. You look so old.
So when you're going through a breakup and you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, I'm such a failure because I couldn't make this work, understand that thought comes from a larger cultural story that it is your moral imperative to make it work, that if you were a good person, it would, that any outcome of a relationship other than staying together is a terrible thing. When you go through a breakup and say things like, well, I'm never going to find love again because this person left me, understand that comes from a made-up story that every relationship is supposed to last forever. And because this one didn't, you have missed your chance. When you go through a breakup and have these thoughts that you are failing at life because you're single, understand those thoughts are a result of literal brainwashing and you're identifying with a Disney princess. The truth is, the end of a relationship does not equal failure. Relationships end when they have served their purpose, and the more we perpetuate the myth that breakups are personal and moral failures, the more people will stay in unhappy relationships just to avoid the pain, shame, or embarrassment of a relationship ending. I stayed in an abusive relationship for years, and when I finally left, I thought I couldn't trust myself because I was like, what is wrong with me that I would have stayed with that person for so long? Then I realized there had been a voice inside me that knew I deserved better, but I hadn't been ready to listen. Instead, I listened to the fears I had about being a failure or that I wasn't going to be okay alone. It wasn't that I couldn't trust myself. I needed to trust myself more. I needed to listen to the voice of my higher self because my higher self had always known that I deserved better and that no matter what, I am complete. A breakup is an opportunity to uncover these conditioned illusions that we aren't inherently enough. It's an opportunity to bring awareness to the thoughts that are holding us back from seeing our true value. And a huge part of healing from a breakup is noticing when those thoughts come up that say, I'm a failure or I'm never going to find someone else, and understanding you have a choice in whether you believe those thoughts. It's one thing to be sad about a breakup. It's another thing to add to that sadness by telling yourself lies about how this breakup makes you less worthy as a human being. This is making the heartbreak so much worse, and it is just unnecessary. Perhaps the most difficult part of healing from a breakup is that breakups are triggering. The loss of a relationship, especially relationships where we felt hurt or betrayed, triggers memories of times in our past where we experienced rejection or abandonment, painful experiences and trauma where we were treated lovelessly, which put a narrative in our minds that we weren't deserving of love, that if only we were better somehow, then we wouldn't have been treated that way. And when we go through a heartbreak, that old pain resurfaces. Only most of the time it's unconscious, meaning we think we are just in pain because of what's happening now, but we are actually feeling old pain, which is why it is so overwhelming. Or we are conscious of our past pain, and this new heartbreak seems to validate our biggest fears. See, I knew I was unlovable. You are not unlovable because someone treated you lovelessly. That was their limitation, not yours. Whether that person was your most recent ex or in a past relationship or someone from your childhood. Blaming ourselves for the hurt someone causes us is a trauma response, a way to feel more in control. We tell ourselves that if we could just figure out what's wrong with us and fix it, then no one would ever hurt us again. But the truth is we can't control other people's choices. It's not your fault that someone made you feel like you didn't deserve love, but just because they made you feel that way doesn't make it true. This is the deep healing of a breakup, recognizing that you have always been lovable. No matter what anyone said or did to you, you were lovable then and you are lovable now. Breakups are catalysts for our awakening by giving us an opportunity to let go of these old stories. So the next time you're feeling sad, the next time it feels overwhelming, the next time you're in pain, I want you to put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath, and repeat after me. I am lovable. I have always been. This breakup is teaching me how to reparent myself. This breakup is teaching me how to give myself the love I have always deserved. A breakup is the universe telling you you're not compatible. Don't confuse that with rejection. If someone doesn't want to be in a relationship with you, it's not because you're not enough for them. It's because your paths are no longer aligning. And that could be for a number of reasons. And no, it doesn't feel good to learn that someone you want to be with, someone you love, needs to go their separate way. But if their path is leading them a different way, that means they can no longer give you what you need. They are not the person you want. They just knew it before you. Similarly, staying with someone because you don't want to hurt them is not a loving thing to do. You can't give them what they need, so why are you holding on? Caring for someone does not necessarily mean staying together. When you feel rejected by an ex, it's tempting to keep tabs, secretly hoping they are unhappy without you. It's tempting to fantasize they wake up one day and realize all the ways they hurt you. It's tempting to hope they will reach out and say, I'm sorry, I see it all now exactly how you wanted me to see it. And then you will finally get the closure from them that you always hope for. But that is just another form of depending on their validation. It's just another way to stay attached. Their journey is no longer your responsibility. You cannot find healing from the person you are healing from. Healing comes from within. When you go through a breakup, not only are you grieving the companionship of that person, but you are grieving the loss of the expectations you had for that relationship. You're grieving the routine you had as a couple, the plans you made, the friends you shared, the things you enjoyed doing together. These separations throw aspects of our identities into question. Do I even like anchovies on my pizza? Did I do my hair like that because I really think it's cute or because my ex liked it? Suddenly, it feels like you don't know who you are. Your relationship provided structure, predictability, meaning, and even purpose, no matter how toxic that relationship might have been. All of a sudden, you're left in a kind of existential void, a feeling of emptiness. And you tell yourself that emptiness is from missing your ex. And while I do think that's definitely part of it, I also think it's easy to forget that the structure of your life has completely changed. You put so much energy into that person, into that relationship. You envisioned a future with them. Loving them was meaningful to you. Being there for them gave you a sense of purpose, even if it maybe wasn't what you should have been doing. And now they are gone, and you are thrust into an unknown space. But instead of giving yourself grace, you're like, what's wrong with me? I shouldn't be feeling this bad. Babe, you feel bad because being in an unknown space is uncomfortable. That doesn't make you weak. That makes you human. But the cool thing about a breakup is it's an opportunity to take that energy and love that you previously put into the relationship into yourself, to further explore what's meaningful in your life. What are your interests, your curiosities? What are things you have always wanted to do? Breakups are incredible opportunities for self-discovery, learning to find your joy, to find what makes your heart sing outside of societal expectations, outside of romance. And guess what? This existential journey is only going to empower you in your next relationship because you're going to know yourself better and you're going to know how to give to yourself. This is the time for passionate self-discovery. Ultimately, babe, there is no getting around the heavy feelings and the loss of expectations that a breakup can induce. There is nothing easy about heartbreak, which is why you need to stop being so hard on yourself. Stop telling yourself you are a failure. Stop believing that if only your ex wanted you, it would solve all your problems. Stop telling yourself that you are unlovable. All of that is bullshit. It's an old story that was never true. At the beginning of this video, I said we will all go through at least one heartbreak that destroys us. And in a way that is partly true, but in the sense that a breakup will destroy the limited perspective of who you thought you were, so you can awaken to the truth of who you really are. As the psychologist Catherine Woodward Thomas writes in her book, Conscious Uncoupling, in a nutshell, a breakup is nothing short of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to have a complete spiritual awakening, one that catapults you to a new level of authenticity, compassion, wisdom, depth, and dare I say it, even joy. You are enough and you are lovable. You will get through this better and stronger. Hi, I'm Bunny Michael, and this is my first ever YouTube video essay. I'm an author and an artist, and I have a large following on Instagram and Substack, and I'm excited to build community here on YouTube. My work is all about navigating healing and self empowerment within the context of an unhealed world. You can't separate what's going on in the world with how you feel about yourself. So I hope you subscribe, and I'm looking forward to more.